Central Maryland has been custom designed for cars, and more cars, but to the exclusion of other forms of transportation.
We don't typically design for active transportation. We don't actively design for walkers, bikers, rollers, strollers.
Complete streets means universal design. That means we design it for everyone. It's not just designed for someone in a wheelchair, it's not just designed for someone on a bicycle, it's designed for the whole community.
When it comes to complete streets, when it comes to transportation, it allows people to go where they want to go, where they need to go, and where they can imagine going.
Social inequities have been baked into our built environment, and some of it, by the way, has been absolutely intentional, institutionalized racism. I'm delighted to see that the Horizon Foundation, that Howard County has very explicitly said, repairing those inequities as best as we can, as much remediation as we can, build into our transportation and land use decisions is absolutely essential if we're going to be successful. We need these models of success.
I think that we could be a much more inclusive community if everyone were able to freely get around.
We started off by having a big event. It was called Open Streets. We thought it was a great way to bring people in to the process of knowing what a redesigned street looked like.
The Bikeway ultimately was a 30-plus mile network of connected bicycle facilities and paths throughout the county.
The Bikeway was important to focus people's attention on the vision of what kind of changes we were hoping for.
We are very proud of the advocacy work that we do, recognizing the role that policy plays in undoing the health inequities that we see in our community.
We had 1,500 plus people that signed our I Want the Bikeway card. We had 30 organizations, all of us coming together saying this was important. One hearing that we probably had 75 people show up, and we asked them, instead of bringing signs, to bring something related to bikes. Every time someone said something about the Bikeway, they would hold up their wheel. They would hold up their helmet. And it had such an amazing sort of impact on the council.
Eventually, the Bikeway vision turned into Bike Howard Express, which turned into 50 miles of bike infrastructure in the county.
The Guilford section of Columbia was actually Guilford, Maryland. For over 200 years, a lot of the African-American families gathered in that area, and they were farmers and also stonemasons. There's signs of a lot of inequity in Guilford. We've had families move away because of the inability of them to have their children walk to the park or just to play safely outside without being in the streets. And so we want to make sure that the amenities that are in Columbia are also afforded to those who are in the Guilford, Jessup area as well.
If there aren't accessible sidewalks and consideration for pedestrians, it can be very frightening and very unsafe.
There just needs to be more accessibility, separations between traffic and where we're at on the pathways. There has to be safer crossings. There has to be a way that we can all get along on the road.
We had a gathering of over 100 people in what is now our chapel. Folks came ready and eager to really voice their opinions about the necessity of having bikeways and walkways in our area.
We were able to lead them on a walk audit, and I led these community leaders on the routes that I had been walking. One of the things that was extremely memorable for me was the look of fear and surprise. I don't think that they had realized viscerally how dangerous it was for some of their constituents to navigate the roads.
When we did the walk audit, it opened my eyes to the fact that we are disjointed and disconnected and not having the ability to come together. Now that the sidewalks have been put in, the bike paths have been put in as well, there's a main vein of connectivity that's there. It's a lot safer in the community.
We as humans get stuck in our normal routes, in our normal way of life, and we don't realize that there are other options available. I think that the more modalities that we use to get people engaged, the more that they can be exposed to another way that the world can be.
Getting to the Complete Streets policy, it took a lot of political will, and it took eventually sort of the convincing county officials and others about the funding, that they needed to match the ambition with the reality of the funding. And I think the work that Horizon done has been instrumental.
Every time I pass that area, I'm reminded of the work that was done and for the reason it was done, so that people can have access to walk and to bike and to ride public transportation in a safe way.
The fact that we're seeing such record investment is incredible, and it's something that many of us long dreamed for.
The passage of the Complete Streets policy, along with the Complete Streets Design Manual and Community Engagement Plan, is something that should be celebrated.
It really is a group of diverse stakeholders, some from within county government, some from outside county government, all working on this document that underlines how things will be built. And culturally, people are really not just thinking about cars when they design a roadway.
It was groundbreaking here for Howard County because it really emphasized the need to make sure that we were reaching the needs of all communities, especially those that hadn't been served in the past. That was a game changer in terms of how folks looked at these types of facilities and what kind of transformation they could actually achieve.
Oftentimes we see that government is difficult for people to navigate. And so through this plan, it outlines a process, a timeline, as well as goals and measures in reaching community, but most importantly for organizations like ourselves who also partner with them in getting the word out, it also provides and opens the door for accountability.
This issue has to continue being a priority for the county because it is one of the most basic good government things that we can do, is helping people just walk around their neighborhood safely.
We still have work to do, and it certainly has been a priority of mine to ensure that we center racial equity in everything that we do, and that beyond representation, it's really important that we identify where our advocacy work goes further.
I want to thank the Streets for All Coalition for coming together, for your perseverance, your resilience, for thinking about our community, our future, for recognizing the importance that if we come together, we can make what feels like the impossible, not just possible, but a reality.
The most successful communities are the ones that are committed to change over time. That's why I think Howard County is really one of the most promising places where I see this work happening around the country. There seems to be a long-term commitment to policy change and to changing how development and redevelopment happens as a matter of course. And that's what's going to be effective in the long run.